The fact that we had to play a different style of rugby to what we normally do and then come out on top was pleasing. It wasn't pretty, probably wasn't made for the spectator, but we had to change a game plan because of the conditions, and I think we showed that we can play a lot more pressure rugby, and that's probably the way that Ulster play rugby. They kick the ball a lot more than us, but I think we got ourselves in good positions and won that territory battle. So yeah.
Did you watch the Tigers match live, or have you watched it just on review? And it was a strange old game, with no real discernible pattern for long spells. What did you take out of that? What's your main takeaway from their game on Friday?
Yeah, they looked like they had worse weather than us, and the pitch didn't hold up quite as well as what ours did. So that probably dictated a lot of the play. But no, it's still a very abrasive team who wants to challenge you up front when it comes to line out maul, and they've got a few nippy nines there, and Pollard at 10. They've got a new winger in there who's pretty good as well, and Watson. So mate, it's going to be a nice battle, and something we're really looking forward to.
Often in Europe, you come across teams that struggle to get up for away matches, but they've obviously won their two matches, two away pool matches, and they've a great record away in the Premiership. That's not going to be a concern for Leinster, that you're going to be welcoming a visiting side if we're not up for it.
No, well, we've got a few more concerns than them playing away from home. I mean, what are they, third in the Prem at the moment? They've won the last 6 games. They're a team full of confidence, well deserved, and we know we need to cross our T's and dot our I's to make sure we can provide an environment that hopefully they can struggle in. But we're looking forward to it, mate. 6-day turnaround at the Aviva, mate. We've got a lot to play for as well.
Given how close Leinster came to winning it last year and the results over the previous couple of seasons, is there any extra pressure in the camp? Do you feel that there's such expectancy for Leinster to get the job done this year?
This year, probably expected last year, probably the year before, and the year before. And look, it's the privileged position to be in. Don't get me wrong, but we know that we got to get our own stuff right. And it's knockout rugby from here on in. Every team wants to. We've got a target on our backs. We know that, and we understand that if we're off just by a fraction, then teams can pip us at the post. So you just got to focus on you. And I know the cliche of the next game is the most important, but it is, especially when it comes to knockout rugby.
Just saw some pictures of Caelan. I was training on the pitch there. Would you be hopeful he'd be in the mix for selection on Friday?
Yeah, hopefully. Gary as well. So I've still got the final selection decisions to make, but yeah, you train well.
And given your options in the back row, I presume that unless Josh is 100% fit, that somebody else can easily step into his shoes.
Yeah, we've got obviously good options. Scott Penny as well. Will Connors is back training. Rhys Ruddock, obviously Max Deegan. So there's some good options there for us. But we'll wait and see on Josh. Obviously, see how that plays out. But yeah, there's some good options in the back row.
Just tell me, what did you take from Leicester's win over Edinburgh? A funny enough game. What was your main takeaway from the Leinster point of view?
Well, I thought it was very similar to our game. Played in really difficult conditions, and they just mastered the conditions better than Edinburgh. Really, their kicking game is excellent. They're very good in the air. They pride themselves on their set piece defence. They're what we would call battle defence, defending their own 22. And I thought they were just more accurate during the course of the 80 minutes. Obviously, it was very difficult for both teams. So they'll be delighted with the win, because Edinburgh, when you looked at the side on paper, and we only played them a couple of weeks ago, we knew how strong Edinburgh were. They'll be delighted with the win. It sets them up, obviously, to come here on Friday, when, obviously, this time last year we went to them.
Do you think, given their game plan, it's a lot of kicking, do you think when there were so many Irish guys involved in that England match, and there was a lot of kicking by England, would Leicester be tempted to change up so much, or is that just they're bedded into their way of playing? But they must try to something different to try and upset you guys, or are you expecting them to play their usual game?
I think it's probably a bit unfair to say they kick everything all the time. You know, I've certainly shown the lads plenty of moments where they've moved the ball and played a more expansive game. I know Richard Wigglesworth's done a great job since he's coming in the interim role. You know, where he's tried to evolve their attack. You can see that. You know, 100 Pollard's playing really well now. They've got Dan Kelly back, who I'm certain will figure against us, who's a high quality player, you know, in the midfield, and lots of options in the back three as well. So, you know, whilst they are traditional in their mindset of play the kicking game and the set piece game, I think there's more to them than that, to be honest.
Do you find that there's more pressure or expectancy on Leinster, given the nature of the narrow defeat, the late defeat last year and the previous couple of years in the European Cup? Does it build up year on year, that Leinster need to get the job done this season?
Well, to be honest, the pressure's on both teams because it's a knockout game, so you don't build up pressure. You know what I mean? There is pressure on a knockout game. All it takes is set it off in the first 5 minutes, you're down to 14, and suddenly, anything can happen. So each game starts from 0, and each game at the moment is a knockout game for us. So, Ulster was hugely challenging in terms of pressure. I thought we managed that well, but as I say, completely different circumstances this Friday. So you don't listen to the external pressure. You're dealing with it yourself internally. And it's knockout rugby, so that's pressure in itself.